but like they took it like next level, where they're suggesting things that they know, it's not even a question, that they know will harm children. This is why, and I knew you were an advocate of the national divorce, but I'm a big advocate for a national divorce. Like, I think there's not common ground. Like, there are people that want to chop off the breasts of 12-year-old girls. I don't have enough in common with to ever find mutual ground with that. Like, I think you're a horrible animal for wanting to fucking hurt children that way, right? And these are the same people that, like, for some reason they don't care about there's like criminal sex trafficking organizations and shit like that. Like, it's like they forget that happens, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I agree. And in fact, this allows me to put a bow on this whole thing, because it's national divorce and everything that we were just talking about. That's why I've always advocated for one, too. Not only do you not want to live with somebody who wants to chop the penis off of a little boy, you shouldn't live. The only point in becoming a nation, or even a small tribe or something like that, the only reason to agree to live around other people, create a government, to create any kind of a country, is because you share enough common values that it creates safety and prosperity to live together. That is the only point of a nation. Otherwise, we'd all just be by ourselves in the mountains or something like that somewhere. Well, if we cease sharing common values, then it's not a place of safety and prosperity. Now it's a cage where we're going to fight. And if we're at that point, and we are at that point, then we need to start acting as if we're at that point. But this comes back to what I was just discussing about people who've lived their whole lives, thinking in one way. Like, when I bring up the topic of national divorce, for the person who remembers, 1980 America, the prospect of that, of dividing up the country, it sounds insane. It sounds unpatriotic. You can't do that. And then they'll almost always say something that is the most naive thing I've ever heard in my life, but they all say it. Well, in the end, we all want the same things. No, we don't. No, we don't. Not even close. Yes, JFK's Democrat Party and the Republican Party back then, there was a couple inches of daylight between them, pretty much the same. Even Bill Clinton's Democrat Party, yes, it was different than the Republican Party. They weren't that different. What we have now is a whole new animal. And the longer it takes the American people to acknowledge that we're dealing with something way more serious here, the harder it's going to be to fix it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Do you think that? Do you think it's going to get violent between citizens?
I hope
it already is. It already is. I mean, in a micro setting, like, you got people, you have how many people are getting arrested for assaulting Tesla dealerships, Tesla drivers, Teslas on their own. We've already seen that. We saw how many people died during BLM riots, yet how many people died on January 6th? Only one of the protesters. Yet they tried to fabricate that cops were killed. I mean, and the thing is, the good news is, and I'd hate to opine on this, but I want to hear Jesse's. I don't think the media matters anymore, except to boomers and extreme normies. If you look at viewership, I guarantee you, Jesse, you have more viewers than MSNBC by a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, by a lot. I remember when I first started, I think it was like in the early 2020s, listening to Tim Pool. And he's like, yeah, our goal is to get as big as CNN. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get there. He's like 20 times their size now in viewership, or some crazy number like that. I don't think the media is relevant anymore. I don't think anybody cares about the news. I don't think anybody takes them seriously. And the people who actually watch news or participating in society, they're getting their information from people like you, from the internet, from X, whatever it is. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on the media in this situation?
I think you're exactly right, Mark. And I think that in and of itself is a great thing. Look, we could sit and swap stories for 20 hours about the evils of social media and why it's bad because of this and why it's bad because of that. But like anything else, there's good and there's bad to it. One of the great parts about it is people don't have to sit down and turn on NBC News anymore for 15 minutes after work to catch the news. In fact, very few people do. Very few people do. And what that did was, I mean, the communists only had to take ABC, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, LA Times, and the Washington Post. And right there, you've controlled most of the people who vote in the country. Mm-hmm. You can feed them whatever lies you want to feed them, and they'll gobble it up. But now that there are so many options with 18, I mean, this show, podcasts, video. You have options now, and you have options to seek out information from the sources you trust. Now, what it's done is it's really taken away their power to control. It's part of the reason they've grown more and more rabid and more evil as they watch that control evaporate. It's frankly, they're as angry at Elon Musk over Twitter as they are about any of this Doge stuff at all. Elon Musk, and I'm not, some Elon worshiper really of anybody, to be honest with you, but Elon Musk taking one of the biggest social media platforms, really the main news social media platform, and ripping it from the hands of the communists is enormous. And it was devastating to them. They used that to control the narrative on everything. And now that they lost that, they're frantic about it because the communist only thrives on control and force.
That's exactly it. It was narrative control. It's the same reason why I pointed out a while back, even before the election happened, that the real problem that they were having so much issue with was RFK, because like the very second he teamed up with Trump, I don't know if anybody knows, it got so crazy. There was like a full court press, and that's because narrative control, especially for the powers that be, like big pharma and stuff like that, if they can't do advertising on media and stuff like that, they lose narrative control. Like there are not drug commercials on TV to sell drugs. You have drug dealers for that. They're called doctors, right? They make those payments so they can control the narrative on TV, and you can't speak poorly about the vaccines, their products, any pharmaceutical. So if you outlaw that takes it's the same thing as like with Twitter. That takes away a huge portion of narrative control, and that's what cracked. Like, I mean, me and Mark say this all the time. Elon, I'm not sold. He's like, I mean, there's still like wild and crazy shit. He wants to put chips in people's brains, all that shit, right? But he saved America buying Twitter. Like, I mean, I truly believe that he saved America buying Twitter. Do you gentlemen know that like we're about a day away from the whole TikTok thing, right? You guys know that what's going on with that, right? From what I understand, there's two buyers. There's two possible buyers: Amazon, and then there's a conglomerate group of guys that want to make it an America First platform. If TikTok becomes an America First platform as well as X,
oh my goodness,
what should we expect?
Well, I'll tell you this, because then I got to actually leave you guys because I got to go pick up my kid from practice. But
all good.
The communist has to control things because he lies about everything at all times. And remember this, and people on the right really need to remember this because they've been failing at this forever. When you point out their hypocrisy, well, they would never do this to their people, or that doesn't, notice how it's never worked. It's never once moved them. It doesn't move them because they are required to lie. They are required to be dishonest. You could scream in their faces that they lied about something. It wouldn't sway them at all. They get in trouble when they tell the truth. I remember when Joe Biden, he was, of course, dementia-addled, and he gave some interview with somebody, and I think he called somebody an illegal. I think he called an illegal. Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, got in so much trouble with the communists that he had to essentially go on an apology tour apologizing for calling an illegal, because you are never, ever, ever under any circumstances allowed to be honest when they're fighting a revolution. They're fighting a revolution. It's going to be horrible for you. Therefore, when you're an American Democrat, you must lie about everything at all times, and you will get in trouble if you tell the truth. And the right is so lost on the morality of these people, on their value system, they will still to this day point out the hypocrisy of them and think it's ever going to be effective. They know it's hypocrisy. That's the entire point. When you're trying to force a demonic religion of destruction on people, you lie. So you tell people the paper mask works. You tell people a vaccine that you didn't even test. You tested it on some French rats. You tell people that it'll stop the spread. Oh, it won't. Oh, never mind. Maybe it'll slow the spread. Oh, wait, it won't even do that either. Whatever. Come in for your 19th booster shot. Sorry your dad had a stroke and your son had a heart attack at 12. My bad about the whole thing. They lie without end, and they always will, and calling them liars means nothing. Calling a communist a liar is like telling Mark he's strong. He's going to say, oh, yeah, I am.
By any means necessary. by
Yeah.
any means necessary. They get the job done. And that's the problem. You're fighting against a ruthless force. The Democrats just don't care. And now
Yeah.
Trump is doing things not even as extreme as the Democrats would do to ram things through. And they're like, oh my God, he's authoritarian. He's a fascist. Nobody even knows what fascist means, by the way. They're using it in totally wrong context. It's just fascinating because you're going up against, and I think you've said this yourself, just a ruthless group who will do whatever it takes to win. And conservatives are too busy fighting about who Elon's getting pregnant to actually have, and we don't have concise messaging. The Democrats will be like, electric cars good. Yay, yay, electric cars. Then overnight, they're like, electric cars bad. Let's go beat people up who drive electric cars.
Yeah.
It is wild.
It is wild, fellas. I'm sorry, I got to bail and I got to go pick up my kid
Oh,
up.
man.
All right.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much
your
for coming
time.
on.
We appreciate your time. If there's ever anything we can do to help you out, you let us know. Okay?
Likewise, boys. I appreciate you both very much. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate
Enjoy
it.
the bars.
Thanks for
I
coming
will,
on.
dude. I'll
Thanks
let you
for-
know.
All right, brother.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. All right. So we're here.
That was
We still
off.
got a few minutes. We still
Yeah,
got a
man.
few minutes.
What do you got going on
So-
this weekend?
You know what? Hopefully nothing. I left Monday. I woke up at 1 a.m. Pacific because I had an early flight. Got back to the hotel from the office at 11, was out the door at 6 a.m. the next day. And then Tuesday was a shit show. And then I had another flight. Then here I am on Thursday. So it's, for some reason, I'm not tired. I feel great. I think it's because I enjoy what I do.
Yeah, man. And you got so much in the pipeline right now. It's wild, dude. Absolutely
Everything,
wild.
man. Ambrosia's a good time, man. We have a new creatine that no one's ever come out with this version of creatine. It's not a different version of creatine, just what we put in it. That's going to be fantastic. That's coming out in, I think, 3 weeks. So we're just getting ready for that. And we have so many things going on. And new flavor of nectar, strawberry lychee, which is a fruit, a delicious sweet fruit found in Asia, Malaysia, and certain Southeastern Asian countries. Pretty cool fruit. Flavor's delicious. It's really good. I should get you some, send you some out. But yeah, it was a week. It was a week. And
you were going hard and heavy.
it was fun, man. It was fun. I always like seeing my staff over there. I got to start getting out there every 2 to 3 weeks again. I had a paperwork spree where I was just locked in my office for like a couple months. And now it's time to go back and do what I need to do. Which
Yeah,
is
I
make
hear
shit
you, man. I
happen.
hear you.
Like you got to get out there, man. Like you have to meet people. You have to shake hands. In person is the dominant form. It just is.
You know, I think that's one of the coolest aspects, like that you showed me when we were talking about the pandemic. Like,